During this review, you are going to hear me saying the phrase, I know this is a kid's movie a lot, but I do have to ask this. Do kids really need to know how to give a dragon an enema? Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I'm your host, the real Geno Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about Robert Downey Jr.'s post-Tony Stark world as he plays Dr. John Dolittle in the somewhat self-titled film Dolittle. I will warn you, there are going to be spoilers in this review, and of course you've been warned in the title of this video as well. Also, as I said in the intro, I'm probably going to say I know this is a kid's movie a lot. I will try not to, but just know that a lot of the stuff I talk about, just remember that I've said, I know this is a kid's movie. The basic setup for this movie is Dolittle he gets married, and the queen, after he helps her, she gives him this great big home where he can treat animals, and him and his wife go on a bunch of adventures and bring animals back, and they take care of them, animals that are mistreated or just in trouble, and also people bring their animals for Dolittle to fix. And of course, as most of you already know, Dolittle can talk to animals. So his wife is going to go on this quest, and she tells Dolittle to stay behind. But then she ends up dying when her ship goes down at sea, and this sends Dolittle into this tailspin where he doesn't take care of himself. He grows this big long beard. The animals are all worried about him, and I'm not sure how long this time period takes place between her death and the movie, but he has this beard that looks like something like Gandalf has. So it's been a little while. But then Dolittle ends up meeting two different children. One ends up becoming his future apprentice, who is out with his dad hunting, and he accidentally shoots a squirrel. So he finds Dolittle to help save the squirrel. And the other is the daughter of the queen, and she comes to Dolittle and says, I need your help saving my mom. He doesn't want to help, but it comes to find out if the queen dies, Dolittle is going to lose this entire estate that he's at, and all the animals will be put out and probably hunted. So he ends up going on this grand adventure to find what his wife was trying to find, which was this fruit that could heal just about anything. So they go on the adventure, but lo and behold, there's foul play, because we find out that one of the lords and the royal doctor are trying to kill the queen. And they have been poisoning her. She's not just sick. So that's the basic setup, and they go on this adventure where they have to find the journal of Dolittle's wife, and then they can find this island to find this fruit. For the most part, as a kid's movie, as a movie that's made for kids, again, I told you I was probably going to say it a few times, the movie is fine. I don't know about adults getting a ton of... I mean, look, I laughed at some times in this movie. But I don't know. There were some things that took me out of the movie I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about the things I liked first. I thought Robert Downey Jr. was pretty good in this. And I enjoyed the voices of the animals. But I have something I got to say about the animals in a bit, what I didn't like. I enjoyed the voices. And Robert Downey Jr. was fine. I think my favorite character in the movie was the evil doctor, which was played by Michael Sheen. He literally had a curled up mustache. I'm surprised he didn't twirl it. So I really liked him a lot as the villain. And by the way, he's a part of the mid-credit scene. There is one mid-credit scene. I I didn't stay for after credits, but from what I understand, there's nothing at the end. But there is a mid-credit scene involving Michael Sheen's character. So I liked him. I liked Antonio Banderas for what little bit he was in it. Antonio Banderas plays Dolittle's former father-in-law, his wife's dad. So there's a lot of good talent in this movie, and I thought most of them did a pretty good job. You had Rami Malek playing this gorilla that has no confidence. You have John Cena playing a polar bear. You have Kumail Nanjiani playing an ostrich. There's just Tom Holland's in this, so you get a re-team up of Spidey and Iron Man. I mean, there's just so many different like high talented people in this movie, so it's not like they didn't have the talent behind them. Ralph Fiennes plays the tiger that you see in the trailer, and he's a lot less ferocious. He is ferocious, don't get me wrong, but he ends up, I guess he was getting help from Dr. Dolittle, but then Dolittle left, and so then they go back to like having therapy sessions during this capture that Dolittle's involved in, and I like that character. It was kind of funny. So the talent's fine, and I did like some of the animal storylines, especially the gorilla Chi-Chi, again Rami Malek's character, who has to find confidence. He's scared of everything. You see him in the trailer, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Dolittle saying it's okay to be scared. Well, later he has to step up and help people, and it's kind of funny, but it just worked. I thought they did a really good job with that. So I was fine with all that. I think my biggest problem with the movie, besides what I kind of hinted at in the intro, and I am going to talk about that at the end, but I think one of the biggest problems I had with this movie is, though I know it's for kids, they do what a lot of kids movies do that are in different time periods. They still talk like they're from now. When you have John Cena's polar bear calling someone bro, and he does it multiple times. You have this. It was either, I guess it's a squid. I don't think it was. It would have been a little squid that's in a fish tank. You see it in the trailer where Dolittle's talking into a fish tank. He's asking this squid questions, and the squid says, snitches get stitches. There's a lot of that stuff when it comes to the animals, where they're talking like people would talk now. And being that this movie takes place, it's like the early 1800s, or even just mid 1800s, that just bothered me a little bit. It takes you out of it. It takes you out of the time period. Again, that stuff is there for kids to laugh. I mean, Kumail Nanjiani is just what it would be like if Kumail Nanjiani was an ostrich. I mean, he's just talking just like himself. There's no real change of character. I mean, some of them have change of character, some of them don't. So, I mean, there's just, some of them are just being themselves, and I was fine with that, but it's just some of the stuff they're saying felt too modern for me, and that just takes me out of this time period. And again, it's there for kids to laugh, and they will laugh at a lot of the stuff. Speaking of the humor, and I'm about to get to the ending, because that is one of the bigger jokes of the whole thing. The humor is very hit and miss for me. Again, it's more there for the kiddos, especially with what some of the animals are saying. There's some things that were pretty funny, and some things that really fell flat. So the humor is very hit and miss with me, but I think kids would really enjoy it, and some parents probably will too. If you can enjoy some dumb humor, you might get more enjoyment out of this than me. I mean, I like dumb humor every now and then, but it's got to be there can be a method to the madness, so to speak. So really, let's get to the ending. Okay, the second trailer you see, which I kind of wish they would have saved this, even though the movie teases it anyway. There's a dragon in the movie, and the dragon is the one protecting this magical fruit that can save the queen. And okay, the dragon's really angry, and the dragon starts to attack everybody, and Michael Sheen's villain is there too, trying to get the fruit as well, so he can stop the queen from surviving. But anyway, it comes to find out that Dolittle diagnoses the dragon after a time, and he like touches the dragon's stomach, and he's like, I bet you're hurting. And he touches the dragon's stomach, and it freaks out, right? Okay. I never thought the movie was going to go here, and this was really what... And again, I know they're going for kid laughs, but this part was just weird. Okay, I have to step back a bit. There's a part of the movie where one of the animal characters will be helping Dr. Dolittle with an operation, and he'll keep asking for different tools, and this animal will keep handing him different vegetables. And it comes into play here because Dolittle asks for something, and the animal hands him like this, I can't remember what kind of vegetable it was, but he's like, that's perfect. You see, Dolittle, God, I can't even believe I'm saying this about this movie. I can't believe this was actually in the movie. Dolittle diagnoses the dragon, saying basically the dragon's constipated, and they need to relieve her, right? They need to relieve the dragon. So he proceeds to shove said vegetable up the dragon's bum and work things out. Now, they don't like show poo flying out or anything. Farts, yes. There is one of the world's longest farts ever. And you have Dolittle explaining how natural this is, and as he's getting farted on. But he keeps shoving said vegetable up the dragon's bum. Again, not a phrase I thought I was going to be saying this review. And they proceed to pull out armor and other things out of said dragon's bum. Until eventually the final thing they pull out is bagpipes. Yeah, so the big climax of what they have to do to get the fruit from the dragon, they have to heal the dragon by giving it an enema. And that is one of the weirdest things I'm probably going to have to say this year about movies. And it just totally... I mean... Look, I know that kind of humor's in other kids' movies. I really do. But just the fact that they had him shoving... I mean, they don't show him shoving it in there. They just show him behind the dragon, and they show him thrust, a few times. It was just weird to me, and it really kind of killed the enjoyment for me a bit. And again, I could see people find it funny, and if you do, that's fine. It was just weird for me to see that in this movie. It didn't even really use that kind of humor throughout the rest of the movie. They tried to be intelligent with some of their humor throughout this movie about, like I said, the tiger having therapy and such, but an enema, a dragon enema, I just never thought I'd see that in this movie. Anyway, do I recommend this movie? Yeah, for kids, even though that part's weird. Is it a rush to theaters? Not really. I mean, if you saw this on a TV, it doesn't feel so grandiose that if watching it on a TV isn't going to really change my perception of, do I need to see this like big? Do I highly recommend it? No. And again, I understand if people get more enjoyment out of this one than I did. And I understand if kids laugh at the animals and some of the stuff they said. I do, because some of the stuff they did was funny. Like I said, Camille Nanjiani as an ostrich is kind of funny because it's just his humor as an ostrich. But really, for me, it's not a must see. It's a rental at best, and that's unfortunate. I was hoping. See, I was never really impressed by the trailers, and I was hoping I would be wrong. But really, for me, it didn't do a lot for me. Again, I probably wouldn't watch this again unless my kids wanted to see it or something, but only after it comes out on Blu-ray. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Geno YouTube channel, like this video, and if you have anything to say about Dolittle, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I'm your host, the Real Geno, Geno Reynolds. See you later.